did you think that you'd get to a place in 2025 where you in here going like, I'd like to talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer?
No, not until once the new Screams came out, I thought maybe there was a chance that they would try to do it, and then I heard they were talking about the idea, but I wasn't really that excited to jump back in, and then it happened to be my friend who wrote and directed the movie, and she was like, "Let me just pitch you where I think the characters are at." She's like, "I know you don't want to do the movie, but let me pitch you this, and if you like that, hear my idea for the movie." And so I did, and she told me this really cool story about trauma and how she thought it affected both of these characters in very different ways. And I liked that. So then she pitched me her vision for the movie, which I can't spoil anything. And if I say anything other than like vanilla ice cream, it wrecks the movie. But I literally signed on before there was a script. That's how much I like the idea. So I'm really proud that she was able to get her vision from pre-production through the studio system and all the way to completion. And I'm proud to get to be a part of that. But it's an awesome horror movie, man.
Yeah.
It's an awesome I love horror movies more than anything.
You do?
Yeah, that's my favorite kind of movies, man.
Even being in them and everything, you still can enjoy.
You know, I always wanted to be the man in the mask. I always wanted to be one of the killers. The monsters were my favorite when I was a kid. I just loved monsters, so I always wanted to do that. But Hollywood wasn't gonna be okay with that.
No. You're too pretty. You were too pretty.
Yeah, in the '90s I was. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's actually. So I was watching the movie. The movie is out in theaters tomorrow. It's I Know What You Did Last Summer, but it's one of those like it's just like Scream was. It's a sequel. It's a whole new cast and a new story, but it comes off of where we
ours.
left.
Yeah, and Jennifer Love Hewitt and I we're definitely not cameos. So if people are looking for for the old school and the OGs, like they're a driving force in this movie, and they're a big part of it too. But it certainly is the new cast's movie. To be certain, and they're incredible. Like, that group is so much better than I was when I was there. It's not even funny, man. I was so impressed by them every single day I was on set, man. They were awesome.
Yeah, I was watching, and I was, like, in my mind, I was like, okay, because I know that you don't, at this point, especially in your life, you don't do things unless you want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of a beautiful place to be. And so I was very curious about...
Have you gotten to see it?
I watched it. Yeah,
so
I watched it last
we
night.
both just have to keep secrets now?
That's
okay,
right.
Great.
That's
Wonderful.
right. And because as you were saying, I can't say anything. I said because I was watching it, going like, okay, what's something that I can say?
What can I talk to him about?
And the one thing that I will say is because you watch, going like, well, because you and Jennifer Love Hewitt are in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was going like, okay, how do they fit in?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And when you show up and you're grizzled. I'll just say that. You know what I mean? you show up and you're grizzled. You got some dirt under your fingernails.
That's
like
right.
you've lived it.
Yeah, he's earned every dollar he's spent.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I love that. That's when it was like, okay, we're telling, because if you actually went through that as a young person, what your character went through in '97.
Yeah, man, getting
you'd be kind of
stalked
fucked up.
and hunted like wild game. Like,
yes.
Yeah, man, it'd do a number on you for sure.
Yeah.
That first scene with Love and I, though, I think is the best scene we've done in all three movies. That first scene where he comes to her door and you kind of find out where they're at in their relationship, or lack thereof a relationship at this point. We can spoil that. They're not doing well. No
happy ending for the couple.
No, they didn't get the happy ending. They lived, so I mean that's
pretty good.
But it didn't work out for them at this stage in their lives, and they're divorced and things aren't good. So that first scene where you see them together, I really do think that's the best stuff Love and I have done in the franchise.
Which I kind of love that too, like the idea that like life happens. Mm-hmm. Like you got a happy ending in the movie, but guess what? 20 years, however long it's been since then. They're divorced. Yeah, it ended poorly. Like this is what happens.
He doesn't shave. He doesn't care anymore. It was a lot of fun, man. I mean, making movies is fun. Making movies that are going to be in the theater is fun, but making horror movies is the best, man. It's
So you love making them too. It's not just that it's your favorite to watch; it's your favorite to make them.
Yeah, I love dead bodies. I love blood. I love guts. I think all that stuff's sexy. Most people think it's gross, but I just think it's awesome. That and smoking in movies. You shouldn't smoke. Nobody should smoke. It's not cool. But if you're in a movie, you should. Because it looks awesome.
It looks cool.
It looks so great.
That's probably why they were like, you guys got to stop smoking so much in movies.
Yeah,
because it looks awesome.
Everybody want to smoke, man. Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, it does look cool. So like, but you love seeing like the practical effects and everything.
Yeah, we're like 99% practical stuff in this, and all the dead corpses were so awesome. It was an Australian company that made them, and I'm kind of a snob with that stuff, so it was like, well, let's see what the Australians did. And then I saw the bodies, and I was like, wow, that's like almost better than what we're doing. They did a great job. So yeah, the corpses look awesome and the kills are so cool. And that's what horror movies need. They need characters you can relate to, and they need like 2 or 3 set pieces, like kills that you remember.
Oh yeah.
And this movie has one of my favorite kills. I mean, obviously the original I Know What You Did has like the greatest kill ever, which was my wife's death scene, because it gives hope, right? And a lot of horror movies don't do that. And it's one of the best death scenes in the history of horror films. Because of the way they were able to execute. But she's like driven by cowardice the whole movie. And the first time she chooses to be brave and fight back, her reward is death.
Right.
And it made the crowd just like vomit emotionally because they thought they had a final girl and we took them away. So kudos to the first movie for doing that. But there's a scene similar to that in this one where there's hope. And you're like, wait a minute. Is this character about to do what I think they're about to do? No, you will get death too, because it's a horror movie. Not everyone. I don't like horror movies where everyone lives. I like it when people die, and there's a lot of death in this one.
Yeah, especially like, I like when, because there's some horror movies that like they clearly just introduce characters to kill them, so you're not even really attached to them. You're like, I'm ready for him to go.
You can pick which one's gonna die first.
100%. And there are even in this one. I go, okay, either that one's the killer or they're going quick. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
It's usually a blonde with glasses that's going to die first.
Right.
That's usually how it goes.
But then I love, too, like what you're just saying, where it's like, you earn the kill. Yeah. Where it's like, no. There's a real emotional attachment here. You went on a journey with that character, and guess what?
Well,
journey's over.
You know the kill I'm talking about because you saw it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's hope there, man, and it makes you believe for a second. And that's all a movie has to do is just trick you for 1 second.
Right.
And then they got you.
It's like a good wrestling finish where you think
I love that.
You think the babyface is about to win, and he's never been more supported, but in the end, it's the heels night.
It's better when the heels win.
100%. 100%. So there was a story going around, I don't know, a month or two ago, that they had reached out to your wife, to Sarah Michelle Gellar, about coming back, and she had said, "No, I'm dead. I'm not. We can't mess with this. Like, I'm very dead."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people. But again, though, it's because of that scene from the first one in '97. People don't want her to be dead. They wanted her to live as much as they wanted love to live. You know what I mean? So that's, I think, why people are so hungry for it. When Sarah came to visit me in Australia, they were like, She's going to be in the movie. She's going to be in the movie. I was like, my family's coming to visit me, man. I've been here a long time. But yeah, people got it. People got excited.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it shows an integrity to be like, no, like, I know everybody wants me back, but like, that's what makes the kill so good, is that it was a real kill.
It was real, man.
It spoils everything you built gets spoiled.
And it would be a different kind of movie if it was some supernatural, she's back from the dead, like, then it's a whole different movie. And I like this slasher film because there's no I like supernatural horror too, but there's no supernatural stuff. It's just a dude with a hook and a knife and a harpoon gun and everything a fisherman has, and he uses all of it.
Right.
It's awesome.
And he's mad at you. He's mad, like, you did a thing. I'm not going to get distracted. You're the target.
Yeah, and he moves like Terminator, you know what I mean? Or like Vader. It's very like, when he moves with purpose, and otherwise he's very still and calm. And I've always loved the character. Muse Watson, who played him in the original movie, was awesome. And our fisherman in this one is great too. But I always miss Muse.
And I found that the kills are super gory. Yeah. The sound is great. And that's so, like, I feel like in modern horror, that's so important. Is you need those like you need those sounds.
Well, it's reminiscent of like 70s like giallo films, right? Yes. That, like, Dario Argento did, which had great sound design, great soundtracks. But yeah, all like the heavy boots, the heavy steps, you know what I mean? The sound of the metal on metal, like all that stuff is just so heightened in a horror film. That's what makes people scream and go, don't go in the room, don't go in the room. And you go in the room and then you die.
And then you die. Yeah. And then, because that's that visceral thing. It's like attacking you on all senses. Like you shut your eyes, but you know what that sound is.
Yeah, man.
And that's what, and also like when you're in bed at night and the lights are out and it's dark, you're still... Did I just hear that sound?
Yeah, man.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? It plays into all
Especially
of
if you have wooden floors. That's when you can hear everything. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Do you get reflective when you do stuff like this? When you're like, okay, you're at a point in your life where you're revisiting? Because I mean, the run that you had in the 90s going into the 2000s was so, I'm sure, massive and life changing for you.
Yeah.
But also, there's a whole generation of us that were like, yeah, dude, you're the man. Like, we went through all that with you. When you're now at this age in life where you know exactly who you are, you know what I mean, and you are revisiting this stuff. And those fans are revisiting it with you.
That's the scary part, because you want them to accept it the way they accepted the first one, right? So I really tried to approach this with as much vulnerability as possible and give the most honest performance that I could possibly give. I was totally committed throughout this, but yeah, man, I definitely felt a lot of pressure that I didn't feel in my 20s, particularly with this one. And there was nostalgia there as well. And then someone showed me a picture of what I looked like in the first movie compared to now.
Why? That's not helpful.
I was like, yeah, that's kind of cold-blooded. You didn't have to show me that, but yeah, I've changed.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think. Do you think that the pressure hit you more now because you didn't know to feel the pressure when you were younger?
Yeah,
or
I was
just,
young and dumb.
Yeah.
I didn't have any experience in the business. You got to remember, I was the youngest actor of the cast, not in age, but in experience. They were all child actors, and I had been doing it for 10 minutes. I had done an indie film and a guest spot on Family Matters.
Right.
And that was like it. I auditioned for this movie 5 times. I was not their first choice. They wanted Jeremy Sisto, who's the man. I love Jeremy. But I was glad I got the movie. But I was convinced I was going to get fired.
Did he turn it down?
No, they ended up going to me.
You just pushed hard.
Yeah, I auditioned so many times, I think they just felt bad. So I booked it, but I thought I was going to get fired every day I was on set until like the last 2 weeks of the movie, and I was like, well, I'm pretty sure they have to like reshoot this whole movie if they fired me now. So I think I'm good.
Yeah.
And then I approached the scenes with
Back to the Future, Eric Stoltz.
Exactly, man. That's what I was thinking. It was a wrap. But I leaned really hard on that cast, and they were really good to me. So.
How long after that did you and Sarah like connect in the way that would lead to a relationship and a family?
We were friends for probably like 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years of just hanging out after that movie, and you know, she wasn't my type and I wasn't her type. Like, so I never assumed anything would happen. So it was easy to be friends. And then one night we had a couple drinks of sake, and
that'll do it.
And that did it. And it turned into a date instead of just friends hanging out, man.
Yeah.
And we've been together ever since.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it worked out, man. The friend thing, I think, is, for us anyway, it worked really, really well. There was a lot of trust involved before we ever kissed, so she knew what kind of guy I was going in.
Right. And you kind of know when you're friends like that. You know when you're being honest with each other. You know you can be comfortable with each other.
Exactly. There was no getting to know you period because we'd already gone through all that.
Yeah. So what was it for you? What did you enjoy most about being back on and I Know What You Did Last Summer set?
You know, I'm friends with the director, right?
Right.
And I know how hard it is to make a studio movie in the modern world where they're all owned by corporations, and you have to get notes from people that haven't even read the script sometimes, or notes from people about the movie who haven't even watched the movie yet. Like, it's hard to make a movie in modern times. It's just the way the business is now.
Yeah.
And to see her bring this vision to fruition, so to speak, that's the right word, I think.
Yeah.
To complete this journey and maintain her vision throughout. Like, I was so proud to be a part of that process, and I was so proud of. It sounds weird to say I'm proud of her. I'm not her dad, but I was impressed by what she was able to do, and then being with that young cast was just, it was so humbling and inspiring because they're hungry. Like I was saying earlier, they're not cynical yet. They weren't child actors, so they're like, hey, what, the business this, the business that, and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, the business this, the business that. You know what I mean? And
you get to kind of vicariously live
you
through
lose
them.
some of your cynicism and you find that inspiration when you were a young actor, and I really fed off that a lot, man.
That's really cool. Yeah, because you had taken a break for a while from acting.
Once we had a baby, took a break, worked for WWE, took another break, and then once my daughter had an interest in acting, started going back. And so I could kind of be an example and show her. And that was a couple years ago. And then this is the first movie I've gotten to do that'll be in theaters. I did like some Netflix stuff and things like that. But this is on the big screen, which is why I got in this business in the first place. I just love making movies, man. I know how hard it is to get up and go out and spend $50 on tickets and overpriced popcorn and drinks.
It's the best.
But horror movies, I feel like, bring people together because you can yell and scream and have an experience. It's like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, minus
100%.
throwing bread at the screen.
Right.
So it's just, I love horror movies for that reason, and they tend to get people out. So I really hope people go out and see it.
Yeah, and having your family see you on the big screen. It's like, see, I told you these because they all have seen, like,
that's a good point, because they've only really seen my stuff on TV. But by the way, like, the original I Know What You Did Last Summer is no longer scary. Like, for the generation that saw it, they loved it. But horror evolves so much more quickly than every other type of movie.
Totally.
That every 10 years, what was scary becomes a comedy. Like, when I was a kid, my buddy was like, "Oh, you like horror movies? You think Freddy Krueger's cool? You got to watch Phantasm." And so I was like, "All right, let's watch Phantasm." And I'm watching. I'm like, "Man, this isn't scary. This is funny." You know what I mean? Because it was in the 70s. It was like 79, I think. 81. It was just right. It was right in that time frame, and it just wasn't scary. So my kids saw it. Saw is the movie that made I Know What You Did and Scream not scary anymore.
That's right.
Because then it evolves even more and more and more every 10 years or so. But yeah, man, they laugh at it now. They laugh at the kills instead of gasping. It's very weird.
That is true. And horror, I feel like, and it's always that same loop where it's like something about it. Just 10 years passes and it becomes cheesy.
Yeah, and because it gets diluted, right? Because everybody, the studios see the one movie that made money, right? And they go, "We need a movie like that."
Right.
That's what happened with Scream. We need another Scream. Okay, here's I Know What You Did Last Summer. We need another I Know What You Did Last Summer. Here comes Final Destination. Like,
right.
So and then eventually, after like the first 3 or 4 get made, they start getting diluted because the audience is very familiar with that style, that look, that script, these actors, and you want something new. And then these writers and directors are just psychopaths, and they all want to outscare the guy that scared them when they were a kid. They want to do better, and so they come up with these crazy ass ideas that just drive people wild, man.
Yeah. No, yeah, and you start to see those tropes like when the new Final Destination came out.
Yeah.
I watched it and then went back and watched the old one because in my head I was like, I mean, I love all these movies.
Yeah.
And I went back and watched the old one. I was like, whoa, like all of a sudden, I hadn't watched it in years, and all of a sudden the stuff that dates it like starts hitting you. And I still love it because I was watching it when it wasn't dated.
Your generation.
It was my generation.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, but you do, if you're aware of it, you do start to catch wind of it. But I do like that in this one, in the new I Know What You Did Last Summer, even though a lot of the scares and the kills and it's more contemporary.
Yes, very much so.
And fits in. It does still have that almost like for people like me, that sort of dynamic of the late 90s, young people together. We think we have like some kind of romp situation, and then it all goes wrong.
Yeah, man, and the director was right on page with what you were saying, Jennifer Caitlin Robinson. She's younger than me. That was her movie. I Know What You Did was her generation's horror movie. That's what scared her. So she knew how to kind of pay respect to the 90s, but at the same time, she's young, so she can make a contemporary film that makes sense to young people today.
Yeah. No, it does. And I also love, without spoiling anything,
go ahead,
the setup for the whole thing, how it wasn't exactly the same as everything, and you think
we're speaking so cryptically.
I know. You gotta go see the movie.
But there's a cool way to like watch it, and then if you see it a second time, you can kind of like figure some cool stuff out along the way that I can't tell you. Sure. Sorry, guys.
For sure. Did you, as much as you're staying humble and grounded, did you enjoy being a heartthrob?
I mean, look.
Or is it a weird thing?
It was weird for me most of the time. Because I was a shy kid, I wasn't popular in high school. I didn't, have the girls, yelling and screaming at me like they do if you're famous. So the first few times it happened, it was a little off-putting, and would make me a bit uncomfortable. And I would kind of like close up a little or astral project to Hawaii and sit there and sign autographs, right? But I appreciate getting a table at a restaurant. That's hard to get. That was like, oh, I can eat anywhere? Oh, that's cool. I don't need to wait 6 months to get into this place. So that part was cool, but for the most part, it made me pretty uncomfortable because, like I said, I just wasn't that guy in high school, man. Right. I was not smooth. I did not have girlfriends left and right. I had like 2 girlfriends through all of high school, and that was it.
Bro, it is so funny that you just said that you project to Hawaii, and that was back then, because I feel like it was like a couple of years ago. I forget what we were talking about, but you hit me up to be like, look where I am right now. It was Hawaii.
It was Hawaii.
It's still your safe place. It's your spot.
Totally.
Like you're just like longboarding in Hawaii.
I'm telling you, man. When I get old and fat, that's where I'm going to retire to, and I'm just going to eat bananas all day and surf and catch sunshine and kick back.
Do we still have aspirations about getting back into the professional wrestling space?
Yeah, man. After the fires, I had to kind of put that dream on hold for a little bit.
Oh, of course.
And we moved, and so my wrestling money went into a new house money. So yeah,
I mean that's important too.
It was important to have a good place for the family where we all felt safe, and so that's what we did. So it's on hold, but I'm certainly not letting it die. That's something that I really like. I'll be older and grayer and still love professional wrestling the same way I fast forward to the fight scenes in a Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah,
I just love people fight. I love watching dudes punch each other in the face. I just think that's awesome.
And when there's a story that goes with it, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I Know What You Did Last Summer is in theaters tomorrow. If it's your generation, you're gonna get a kick out of it. If you're younger, it's really well done to the point where it's gonna hit people differently where it needs to hit them. You know what I mean?
I think so, man. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Of course.
I know you're kicking me out of here, but I always wish we could talk longer, man. I enjoy our chats.
I got the wrap-up signal from this guy with the braided beard right here.
You don't mess with a man with a braided beard.
No. He's a big guy. He's got tattoos up and down his arms. If you're telling me it's time, it's time.